The bathtub. As he sat in his hospital bed, Dennis was feeling tired, alone, and afraid. Thoughts were rushing in his head as quickly as the patients being rushed past him in wheelchairs. There was only another hour until he would be discharged with nowhere to go. The nurses made the call for him to reserve a bed at the shelter since he was still feeling a bit overwhelmed thanks to his depression. He'd been fighting it since his girlfriend turned back to drinking, and now he suspected drugs too. A battle was waging inside him about whether or not he should return to her chaos-filled home or go to this so-called shelter. The clock seemed to be ticking louder as 6:30 p.m. approached, and he knew he had to make a decision. He thought about bolting out the door against medical advice and leaving the plan for the shelter in the dust, but he struggled to get up. First, he would need to get out of this starchy, scratchy gown and back into his street clothes. It was tough enough to muster up enough energy to get dressed, let alone coordinate getting to her house. Besides, he felt that when he got there, he would be overcome by the temptation to use again. It was his lack of motivation that kept him on the right path. He was waiting for the bus to arrive to take him from the hospital to the shelter when he decided to pray for the first time in a while. He specifically prayed for hope. He filed onto the bus and decided to make the best of it. Thoughts flooded his mind on his way over the railroad tracks and onto Freedom Road. The bus held other passengers who didn't have to worry about where they were going to eat or sleep. For a moment, he felt a bit resentful, but as the bus pulled into the shelter's parking lot, he saw the sign, Project Hope for the Homeless. What was this? He got goosebumps from his head to his toes. Hope. Here it was. The very thing he prayed for. Miracles began to happen. Yet there was one thing in his life he could never let go of. His girlfriend. She was still in his heart and mind, and he was not ready to give up on the only person he seemed to have left. So, as his strength returned and his depression waned, he thought it time to give her another chance. He moved into her home again, hopeful that this time things would be different. It seemed to go okay for a while, but it wasn't long before the relationship turned disastrous, threatening his own sobriety. He finally told her they could no longer be together. The loneliness was like an empty space, void of all things except an extreme aching pain. He had never felt as low as this before. Hurt, alone, and despondent, he filled the bathtub in his new apartment and slowly slipped inside. The cold, hard porcelain wrapped around his skin, beginning to feel like a coffin. As he lay there soaking wet, he contemplated his options. All it would take would be to drop the electric lamp he held in his hand into the tub, and he would no longer have any sensation left. It was at this time he remembered praying for hope earlier, and how it connected him to some of the kindest people he had ever known. People who did not judge him or his past. People who encouraged him and offered him dignity and respect. Something compelled him to a call to hope, Project Hope. He convinced himself that if no one answered the call, it would be a sign that he should end the pain. Shaking uncontrollably, he had a hard time dialing as both water droplets and tears were clouding his vision. Hello, Project Hope, may I help you? I answered. As executive director, I wasn't usually the person who answered the phone. With one hand punching the lamp and another the phone, Dennis wasn't prepared for an answer. For a few minutes, he fell silent and waited. Hello, may I help you? I said again. Recognizing my voice, he blurted out, Judy, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to end my life. I'm in the bathtub and I have a lamp. I'm going to electrocute myself and end my pain. Just then, another staff member peered into the office. This is the moment we were trained for. When I motioned for help, it seemed like everything was in slow motion. With a Post-it note and pen, I scribbled down suicide attempt and his name, address, and instructions to tell 911 to get there quick. In the meantime, I distracted him with conversation. I really want you to stay with me and tell me why you are struggling, I said. He shared how desperate and lonely he felt since his girlfriend chose alcohol and drugs over him. He only wanted to be happy, and it no longer felt possible to him. We spoke a little longer when suddenly, men's voices, the firefighters, could be heard in the background. He was being rescued. Thank you, Jesus. Those 10 minutes felt like days. Life and death hung in the balance. As I hung up, I knew there was a staff member who needed a problem resolved, the copier needed attention, and the pressure of a report deadline loomed, but these things didn't seem so weighty now. I had no time to fully absorb what had just happened. It was just another day at the office. 10 years later, I went to the ice cream shop with my daughters. An older man was sitting across the room at a table by the window, decorated with brightly colored sundaes. As the afternoon sun shone in, the man and his little companion seemed content sharing their banana split. It was so endearing to see the special bond they shared. They looked as if there was nowhere they would rather be than in each other's company. I realized I had been staring because when he finished, he came over to my table. He gently interrupted me. "You don't remember me, do you?" Vaguely, I began to recall the man from the shelter that had prayed for hope many years ago. He went on to tell me about how he has been able to move on from his past relationship and to enjoy a new life with his daughter and grandson. "We all know Jesus now. It's wonderful. I never thought it possible," he beamed. I smiled and my heart was warm as he and his grandson pushed through the door to jump in his pickup truck out front. And just like that, they were gone. That is, until the bell jingled on the door of the ice cream shop. As I looked up, he peeked his head inside, caught my eye and smiled as if to remind me there was more to remember. "The bathtub," he said. "Thank you." I felt my cheeks burn as tears streamed down my face. All the memories rushed back to me, the lamp, the tub, the life that was rescued. Now, this one life had a restored hope to rescue his family and others for eternity. Wow, what a gift. Today, he is a friend of the shelter who supports the mission in prayer with goods and finances. More importantly, his tragic circumstances were turned for good, and his life is bringing hope to all of us. Now let's watch.
Hello. Yes. I would like to reserve a bed at the shelter for a patient. No, he currently lives with his girlfriend. Yes, she's turned to drinking and now he thinks she's using drugs as well. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Dear God, I know I haven't prayed in a while, but I could really use somebody to talk to. I feel so overwhelmed and depressed, and just getting dressed is a struggle. Dear Lord, I just hope there's someone out there that can help me. That's all I need. Hope.
Freedom Road, Project Hope.
Welcome to Project Hope. My name is Judy.
Dennis, I don't really know what I need.
Why don't we start you off with a bed? This way.
Hi. I was just at the hospital. The nurses found me a bed at this place called Project Hope. Maybe they can help. I'm going to stay overnight. I don't think we can see each other anymore. I really need to work on my sobriety. Maybe this Project Hope place can help. Take care of yourself, okay?
Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning. Thanks for letting me have a bed. I think I need to go find an apartment of my own now.
It was wonderful to meet you, Dennis. Hello, Project Hope. May I help you? Hello? May I help you?
Judy, it's Dennis. I don't think I could do this anymore. I've got a lamp, and I'm going to electrocute myself just to end this pain. I can't handle this pain anymore.
I really want you to stay with me and tell me why you're struggling.
I feel so desperate and so lonely since my girlfriend chose drugs and alcohol over me. I just don't think I can do this anymore.
Yeah, we see him.
Hi. You don't remember me, do you? I was at the shelter just 10 years ago. And I live this wonderful life with my daughter and my grandson. We all know Jesus now, and it's just so wonderful. I never thought it would be possible. You know, the bathtub. Dennis. Thank you.